In the beginning was the dark, and the dark was matter, and the dark was chaos. Dark matter existed alone upon the face of the deep until the moment of the first thought, the first instant of self-realization, which was the great I Am that brought the light of awareness and of organized matter into being. The light was conscious, but the light was not chaos. Unlike the dark, the light sought order and harmony and symmetry, dark matter's true and everlasting opposites. Both essences of matter longed for their own form of creation, but, due to the fundamental differences between them, only light matter was chosen to bring forth ordered substance, harmonious form, and sentient life, all by the will of the first. Thus, as the light progressed in its journey to take forms, the dark presented a constant threat to influence anything organized of light with muddle and discord. And so, the light resisted dark matter's influence by shoving it away into its own place, which became known as outer darkness. In the scheme of things both infinite and eternal, light matter hastily brought forth organization, thought, and awareness, encompassing and comprised of all existence. The one first consciousness called itself Ela Mahdai, meaning the first thought, and matter then multiplied exponentially. From the initial thought was born the Seraphon, the first and highest beings of light, and the creators and governors of all that was, and they were many. Matter is, and therefore cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be molded and shaped only by the will of those born of the first consciousness. The Seraphon were of one mind, of one goal, of one reason, and they set forth to do the will of the first consciousness in all things. Between outer darkness and the eternal realms of light, the Seraphon erected a barrier to more efficiently separate both realms. The barrier was a void containing no form of either light nor of dark matter. But a void cannot remain empty indefinitely, and being empty, the void hungered, as a magnet hungers and draws its polar opposites unto its substance. A new form of matter, comprised of tiny remnants of light and tiny remnants of dark, each being the opposite of the void, was sucked in over eons of time, creating matter that was essentially grey. Thus, the void became a depository of the remnants of all creation, the collector of discarded fringe matter, matter that continued on the course of self-organized, self-propagating structures set forth by the Seraphon, only to a far lesser degree. As the universal laws of matter were created, so that ever-filling void obeyed those same principles, but in its own way and without the Seraphon's influence. And even without their direct hands, grey matter brought into being all manner of things in the image of the Eternal's higher creations, but all at lower vibrations, with fallibilities, flaws, pains, illnesses, finite lives, and ultimately, death. This new dimension became the vast ocean of temporal space, self-organized and perpetually created from laws the remnants of which were infused into the light matter before it was influenced by those so minuscule vestiges of the dark. Over eons, that endless grey space became filled with worlds and stars and all manner of life. These lower forms of creation were not a displeasure to the great creators. On the contrary, they found the new lower worlds to be most curious and fascinating, and they called this new dimension the mortal realm. Upon some of those mortal worlds were found endless forms of terrestrial life and of sentient beings, such as mankind, unclean creatures, yet formed in the very image of the great Seraphon themselves. These lower beings, living directly in between both outer darkness and the realms of light, were constantly pulled in both directions and thus evolved having both influences as the foundation for their hearts, minds, and souls, which was the reason for all of their struggles, their joys, and their pain.